In this video, we'll be discussing about problem 2. I suggest you to pause here if you want to read the question. So we have 3 questions. The first one is there equilibrium in the game? Right, so in this game, we have 2 players, Bang Terpercaya as offense and Attorney Team as defense. As offense, we will use the Maximin strategy. So from each strategy, we try to choose the smallest and then pick the largest. So for strategy A, the smallest is 140. Strategy B, the smallest is minus 90. Strategy C, smallest is 0. For D, it's minus 30. For E, it's minus 120. For F, it's minus 200. For G, it's minus 70. And for H is minus 90. So the Maximin is the largest one, right? So our Maximin is strategy A with a value 140. That's from Bang Terpercaya's perspective. Moving on to Attorney's team, because it's on the defense, we will try the minimax. Okay, so minimax means we have to see the maximum outcome from each strategy and pick the smallest one. So the maximum output of strategy 1 is 400. Strategy 2, the maximum would be 170. For strategy 3 is 145. Strategy 4 is 210. Strategy 5, 250. Strategy 6, 200. Strategy 7, 210. Strategy 8, 145. So the minimax from these ones I highlighted in pink, we choose the smallest one, which is this one, 145 and 145. So the minimax for Attorney team is strategy 3 and 8, which equals to 145 in value. As you can see, there's no cell that I highlighted twice. It means the maximum and minimax doesn't have the same value, so there's no settle point in this game. There's no equilibrium. So the answer, there's no equilibrium. That's for question A. Moving on to question B. Question B, if each player use mixed strategy, what strategy will be used by each party and at what percentage? So as we know, we don't have equilibrium, so we will have to use the dominant strategy. In dominant strategy, you try to eliminate a strategy that's always bigger or always lower than any other strategy. So first, I will see from the Attorney team. For strategy 1 and 2, when I compare it, 200 is bigger than this one, 190 is bigger, 400 is bigger, 80 is bigger, 85 is bigger, 150 is bigger, 0 is bigger still because it's minus, and 175 is still bigger than 170. So in this scenario, I can say that strategy 1 is always bigger than strategy 2, but because we're on the defense, we are a defense player, we want the minimum outcome. So we can say that strategy 2 dominates strategy 1. Thus, we can eliminate strategy 1. And then you continue to compare, for example, strategy 2 compared to strategy 3. 160 is bigger than 145. Minus 70 is bigger than minus 90, but 0 is not bigger than 120, so we cannot eliminate this one. And as you continue to compare it all, you continue to compare one by one. After you finish comparing the strategies that Attorney team have, you have to shift to Bang Terpercaya strategies perspective. So you start comparing between A and B, A and C, A and D, and so on. So if you start comparing those, you will get that E can be eliminated. So you can eliminate strategy E. And then after you continue again, you finish comparing strategy A to H. Back, you have to switch again to perspective of Attorney team and compare from strategy 2 and 3, 2 and 4, 2 and 5, and so on. But this time you don't have to worry about the cells that we have eliminated. And after you did the comparing and elimination, you will get these result that you will have a 2 by 2 matrix, which is matrix A and B for strategi bank terpercaya, and 3 and 8 as strategi tim pengacara. This will have the value of 145 minus 90, 140, and 145. So because you have this 2 by 2 matrix now, you can see the percentage of the use of each strategy. So if we're looking from strategi bank terpercaya, we assume that the attorney will use strategy 3 and strategy 8. So 8 and 3 will equal 8, meaning 145 times probability plus minus, berarti this is not plus ya, this is minus to make it simpler, minus 90 times 1 minus probability equals 2, 140 times a probability plus 145 times by 1 minus probability. And as you count this, you will find the probability will be 98%. And because we assigned the P for 145 and 140, so the probability of 98% is for strategy A. So this one is 98%. And because strategy A is used 98% of the time, strategy B is used 2% of the time. That's from the bank. And if we want to see from the attorney, it's the same. We assume that the bank will use strategy A and strategy B. So A equals B. The equation would be this row, 145P probability plus 141 minus P equals 2 minus 90P plus 145 times 1 minus P. And if you count this, we will also get the probability of 98%. To be noted, the probability from each player can be different, but on this question, it's a coincidence that the probability are the same. So as we take the P for 145 and minus 90, so the P probability of 98 is assigned to strategy 3. So strategy 3 is done by attorney 98% of the time, and strategy 8 is done 2% of the time. Right, so we already have the percentage of each used strategy. Moving on, what is the increase in cash flow that can be expected by bank terpercaya? What is the interpretation of this result? So because we already have the probability from the previous question, now we can answer, we put the probability in the equation. So for the previous equation, I will choose this one. So for bank terpercaya, we can say that 145 times 0.89, not percentage anymore because I changed it into decimal, plus minus, it's not plus, I'll make it minus to make it easier, minus 90 times, because 1 minus P is 0.02, and if you calculate this, we will have 140.3 thousand rupiah in increase of cash flow. So the interpretation is for bank terpercaya, there will be an increase of 140.3 in cash flow. That would be the interpretation for Bank Terpercaya, and thus conclude our tutorial. And yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for listening.